And we are live. Hello, 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 hello. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes. Happy New
And
Year.
John, Happy New Year to, I know there's a couple of people at least waiting to listen. So we are so happy to be back. We took Christmas week off. And, it's funny when the day that you stream falls on a holiday, sometimes it's hard to fit it in on other days. Yep. We had a little bit of a struggle trying to figure out a day last week.
Right.
But
and we actually moved a vacation from this week to last week. And suddenly it was like, oh no, now what do I do?
Yeah, you know what? But it worked out fine because my kids were here with me. My youngest son was here with me from Houston. And so it worked out really well.
Cool.
Anyway, so if you have not been with us before, thank you for joining. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, we would love, 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 love it. And if you have been here and you're a loyal listener, which I know for a fact there's at least one or two, thank you very much. Happy New Year, Coventina. Thank you so much for being such a loyal listener. We so appreciate you. So medicine for 2025. I have been giving it a lot of thought, and I don't think I'm alone in I'm just really not feeling it category.
Mm-hmm.
2024 dealt me a couple of real cruel, proud finishing blows, but I'm still standing.
Yep.
So obviously I'm doing something right. But it's been a while where I have really felt like I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling the self-care. I'm not feeling, I'm just not feeling these things that I know in my mind. If I do them, I will always feel better.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to talk about were these different sort of categories, but also some ideas of, how do you force yourself? Because sometimes I heard a quote that was, and I don't remember where it was from, but the person said, you are 100% responsible for forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, and it's the truth, right?
Yep.
And it's just funny, sometimes I don't feel like taking the solar cover off the pool, but I know if I get in the pool and I walk around, I'm going to feel so good, but I'm not up to the task almost sometimes, So,
I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. When I'm up against a task I don't want to do, I do the proverbial put the shoes by the door. And let me explain that. So years ago, when I was reading on how to force yourself to do stuff, the author said, okay, I know I want to go running in the morning, and in the morning you get up and you're like, you know what, I don't really feel like it. I'm just going to put my shoes by the door. And then once the shoes are by the door, then it's like, you know what, I'm just going to put the shoes on, but I'm not going to do anything else. You put the shoes on, and then you're like, you know what, they're on. At least I can go around the block. And then you're moving, and then it works. So for me, I have a course that I bought for my business, and it's a lot to go through. It's like 6 hours of video. And when I sit down, I'm like, I don't have time to do this right now. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to load it up, and I'm just going to watch 5 minutes. You watch 5 minutes, and you're in another 10, another 15. Like,
right.
Hey, I got a half an hour in. All right.
Right.
And all I did is I quote, put the shoes by the door.
Yeah, that's now me. I am an expert procrastinator. I saw that pick me up jar. That is a brilliant idea, Coventina. Writing a positive affirmation, blessing, or words, putting it on paper and putting it in a jar. When she's feeling a bad day, I grab a paper. I have
smart.
Yeah, and I have a really spectacular idea for a freebie based on that. So Coventina, we'll talk about that on the outside. Anyway, I mean, what a great idea for a freebie. Anyway, I have every year. So everybody knows, I know a lot of people know I'm a tax return preparer. And while we are not licensed, right? We don't have a license. Tax return preparers do have continuing education they can complete every year so they can participate in what's called the annual filing season program, which is it's an endorsement from the IRS that a person has completed X number of continuing education hours. It's not an endorsement that the person is good or not good. It's just the IRS has proof that they've done this continuing education. So in order to maintain this, you have to get it done on by December 31st. And I've had it every year since it was available to me. In fact, when they did require a credential, it was called Registered Tax Return Preparer. I passed that test. And so because I passed that test way back in the day, I'm exempt from additional hours.
Nice.
I can, instead of 25 hours, I can do 15. But for whatever reason this year, I was like, oh man, 12/31 came and I hadn't touched it.
Oh no.
But I finished it. I finished it, and I'm all good. And I was like, I've been on that list since 2014 or something. I don't want to blow it now.
Right.
So sometimes it's that way for me, get things done at the very last minute. So I think when it comes to self-care and these kind of things, there's got to be a better interactive way, right? Like,
yep. Can I go to the pick-me-up jar a minute? The pick-me-up jar, what just struck me about that is that when you are in a good vibe and things, you are doing the self-care, that's when you can put some, I guess they call it your emotional bank account or your spiritual bank account. You're going to put some affirmations into that jar.
That's what she's talking about. Yeah.
Right. So that you can draw on them when things are low.
Exactly.
I love that idea.
Exactly. But let's not talk about that any further because I have a brilliant idea and I don't want to spill it.
Fine. But it just struck me that it was like the emotional bank account idea.
Yeah, exactly. And it's brilliant. I mean,
very smart.
Coventina and I are in a number of groups together, and I know she posted it in at least one of them. But Coventina, you're gonna like this. So and of course I'm gonna share it with you because you sparked it, but it's brilliant. Anyway, so how do you, it's like when we talk about self-care and, for example, Reiki, people who are Reiki practitioners. And I ask people when I work with people, balanced energy is resilient energy. Resilient energy is less reactive, period. Yep. That's how it works. And anybody that is attuned to any kind of energy work, whether it's Reiki or Amakuaki or quantum, whatever, or they're part of Eric Pearl's reconnection, they have at their fingertips the tool that requires nothing else to keep themselves in energetic balance. And when I talk to people, clients, and say, are you attuned to any energy work? Oh, yeah, I'm a Reiki master. And how often do you do it on yourself? They say, I don't really. Like, so how do you, we're just so programmed to give, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do. We're so programmed for that we don't. Oh wow, we can't. Oh, there we go. Okay, I was trying to see the chat, but I can't on YouTube. I was trying to see the chat on YouTube. It's not going to work. So just gonna stop getting distracted and move on. Anyway, so the idea is, how do you get in the habit in 2025 to use some of these things? And so there's such a long list of medicine, but I've narrowed it to quite a few here that I think are really important.
All right, cool.
Gratitude, music, nature, laughter, meditation, creativity, of course, energetic balancing. So within this category, like, I mean, it's easy. They're easy. They're free, right?
I know.
And we don't
I know.
do them. You know, music as medicine. Music as medicine. Nobody puts on angry rap to clean their house. Right? They
Right.
put on Styx or Rush or, you know, whatever it is for you. Lady
The
Gaga,
happy music.
you know, Blake Shelton, you know, whatever they enjoy,
right. Whatever
right?
happy is for you.
And so I'm not the first one to turn the music on. I'm just, for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do, it just feels so good.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it shifts your energy.
Yep.
It's frequency, it's vibration. So it has the power to shift your energy. So how could you get in the habit? You know, I mean, as we tie all this together, medicine for 2025, and then you have resolutions that people probably have already made because they usually do that on December 31st. And didn't we learn last year that by January 15th or something, the resolutions are out the window.
They're out the window.
Right? Like out the window. So how can you make yourself something that is non-negotiable, that you always do, that really is just for you? Like, you know, how do you get that piece out of your mind that's like, well, I need to take care of this person and I need to do this, and this person is sick and I have to take care of all of that. You know, like, how do you look yourself in the mirror and say, you are important. You deserve this. It is important that you do this for yourself. What do you do with that?
I think it's, if deep down you realize that we are all one, when you do something for yourself, you are doing it for someone else.
Oh, I don't care about that. For the greater good, like I don't. Yeah, I mean, I understand that thought process, and I know that probably works for a lot of people.
Yeah, it does work for a lot of people.
But it's, when I'm not feeling it, I'm just not feeling it. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I see.
You see what I mean? So yeah. So no
when you're
shame.
in the mindset, like, I'm just,
I just
not
don't
feeling it. What's your next step?
Right. Like, how do you, you know, how do you switch the light on? How do you get out in the sunshine? How do you?
Okay. So for that, I think it's taking a break. I think it's forcing yourself to do something other than same old, same old.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
because I think when people are in a funk, a lot of it's like, here we go again. You know, you get up, you get out of bed, you do the lunch, you know, you make your breakfast, you go to work. I mean, when you're in a monotonous routine, one thing that can kind of spark a zap is to, like, do something different, get away from the routine, whether that's walking, deciding, you know what, I always go to work right after breakfast. Today, I'm going to go take a walk just because. And you do something, or you get out in nature, but you do something different to break the monotony.
Yeah, right. Because you break the monotony, and then you give yourself a little leg up, a little space, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this list and see what. Okay, I will say that everybody's got a lot of different ideas about how this works and what you should do, and I think that it's important, as we have this conversation, that there is no one answer for everyone. So Coventina says when she's starting a new practice, she puts it on her calendar every day at the same time. Which, if you're a calendar person, that's a great plan.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's just like a journaler, you know, like I have, I don't know, 30.
journals with
couple
one
of
page
pages.
written in, right?
Yeah. So today I was looking and I found an empty one and I thought, well, I'm really going to try this gratitude practice where you find 3 things that you're grateful for every day and write it in the calendar. And I've done this before and it was useless. So why are we looking at this as medicine? Okay, fine. Jeez. Why are we looking at this as medicine? Okay, let's go there before we talk any further about the rest of it. Why am I calling it medicine? I was listening to Bonnie Raitt on the Kennedy Center Honors, and she was talking about how she feels her music is medicine.
Yep.
And so it occurred to me that there are people out there creating things and doing things that are medicine for other people.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we leverage and harness that for ourselves? So, maybe you do need an app with a meditation that pops up every day or a calendar that gives you a reminder every day.
Mm-hmm.
But, even I have a timer, or what is it? Not a timer. What is it? A reminder, an alarm?
Yeah, an alarm or a calendar.
That goes. I have an alarm that goes off every day at 8:00. That's so I remember to take my 1 pill, and sometimes I shut it off and I still forget. So it's like, how do you convince yourself to care about yourself enough?
Mm-hmm. Well, if we're just talking building habits, there is something called habit stacking, where you hook your new habit onto your existing habit. Like almost everybody brushes their teeth before they go to bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your new habit is to, let's say you're going to meditate for 15 minutes, the new habit hooks right into the old habit. So you actually start your meditation. This is a bad example because you can't meditate while you're brushing your teeth. Well, maybe you can.
Well, I don't know. I think you can. I mean, if you look at my husband brushing his teeth with his eyes shut, toothpaste spraying all over the place. Maybe you can.
What if that's a good example of habit stacking? You hook your new habit of meditation into your old habit of brushing your teeth, and after a certain amount of time, they say it's 21 days, now it's part of your new habit. So you hook, it's a way of getting into the habit of doing something.
It does. I mean, it does make sense, but how do you see? I get that, and you're coming at it from a technical, mechanical side.
Yep, a very intellectual side of things.
I'm coming at it from the idea that I just don't want to.
Right. And the question is really, how do I get myself out of the funk in order to care enough to get myself healthy?
Exactly. I mean, because I know a lot of people that are listening are overloaded and they're doing too much, not only for themselves, but maybe maybe they're content creators that take forever, or maybe they're light workers, and they're constantly doing for other people. And then when it comes time to do for yourself, you just don't feel like it.
Yep.
And it's, what is something on this list that can help you feel like it? That's, I think what we're looking at here, right?
My idea of taking a break or breaking the routine, going into nature, that nature's on the list. I know. Yeah. You mentioned music is on the list. Sometimes it's a friend, right?
Yeah.
I think when I've been at my lowest, when I have either been forced to go out for like, yeah, fine. Okay. We'll go. When you actually sit down and you meet with that good friend and suddenly you realize this is what I needed all along. I just needed someone to talk to.
Yeah, that's it. So I think maybe rather than, how about this? What do you think of this? Rather than looking at it as forcing ourselves to do something, or, oh yeah, right. Remember when you were a kid and there was something new on the table that you never had before, and your parents said, well, just try it.
Yep.
Right? Just try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat it. Well, that's what my parents said.
Right.
I know there's a lot of parents that force kids to eat stuff, and I disagree with that 100%.
Yeah.
but that's how I roll. But what if you could make a promise to yourself to just try it? Like how long, like for example, I told you I want to try out the gratitude journal again. I have a fresh one that I haven't cracked open yet, which I've probably had for about a year, but
awesome.
I digress. It's fresh, brand new. I understand now that when you are doing a gratitude journal, it is really important to connect to the energy of what you are grateful for. In other words, you don't just make a list, go bing, bing, bing. I'm grateful for my food. I'm grateful for my house, and I'm grateful for my husband.
Right. That's just mechanical right there.
Right. That's just mechanical. But I'm grateful for the food that nourishes me, so I have the energy to take care of the things that I need to take care of, and the enjoyment or pleasure that you know what I mean? Like really connecting to the energy of the gratitude.
Yep.
So how long, if you were going to say you wanted to try that, I agree to try it, right? How long? I know it takes 21 days to make a habit, but I think that's too much. I think that's telling somebody too much. You know what I mean? Like,
what if you said 3 days?
A week, 3 days?
You got to give it
sounds really good to me.
Give it 3 days.
Because I think 3 days is sort of the equivalent of that 5 minutes, 10 minutes that you're talking about when you do a project, right?
Right.
Like 3 days is that, oh, well, okay, I've done it for 3 days. Now let's try for 7.
Yep.
And
instead
of saying I want to do it for 6 months.
There was someone who said, I can bear anything for 3 days, right?
Yeah, right.
So,
right. I can do anything for 3 days. Like I can do anything for 3 days. I like that. So maybe for me or for you, 3 days it is. Maybe for somebody else it's 2 days, or maybe someone else can agree to 7 days. Fit it in for 7 days. So, but agree to try, and then agree to an amount of time that you will give it. In other words, don't just sit down, open the book, write two words and say, I tried, and move on. Because you're not going to get the benefit of it in 2 words, right? But I think 3 days is enough for you to start sort of feeling a little bit of a shift.
Yep. What do you think about accountability? What if, okay, I'm gonna do it for 3 days, and I'm gonna have a 5-minute call with my friend to just say, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't do it.
I love it. I love it. Right.
The accountability thing.
Like there's so many groups and things that I'm in that have accountability partners, so to speak.
Oh, cool.
Did I just go dark or something? That's weird.
Nope. You're still there. I see you.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know, like the light went away. Maybe there's more clouds outside or something. Anyway, I love the idea of an accountability partner. And to be honest, so many of the programs I'm in have that, as an option. And I know that when I've agreed and taken on an accountability partner, I usually finish. And if I don't, it goes into the pile of Udemy courses and everything else that I have not maybe even cracked open. So I love that idea. And weird. My second screen just turned off. I don't know what's going on here. And now it's back.
I think StreamYard is playing with their settings. That's
it's either that, or maybe we had a little bit of a brownout and I didn't realize. Our Wi-Fi in my computer is on the battery backup.
Got it.
So, but I don't think the monitor is. The second monitor is not on the battery backup. The computer and the the modem or whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, I love that idea. So how do you? Yeah, that's true too, Comentina. Fairies, seriously, because look, they returned. Of course.
How did you get 2?
Well, because remember, I couldn't find one.
Oh, yes.
And I have a tote right here with my decks in it. It's right practically next to my feet. I went through that tote 4 times looking for this deck. and I
It
swear
wasn't
it
in
was
there.
not in there. So I ordered another copy, and then naturally there it was. I'm like, come on now, fairies. That's the exact answer right there, fairies. Because I have a new guide called Pinky, and she is a fairy with pink hair. So
And
maybe
she's
she
having
was.
fun.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I was getting ready to wear them out anyway. The old deck has got, yeah, that's the new one. The old deck, the edges are wearing out. Okay. So how do you, now here's the problem with an accountability partner, I think. Like I could never have my husband as an accountability partner. Why is that? Because if I told him I didn't feel like it, he would feel bad for me and say, well, then don't do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Right.
not
You
that
get a free pass from people that really,
yeah, because he just loves me and he wants me to
Yep.
be happy. And if I don't feel like it, so where do you find an accountability partner? I mean, in these groups that I'm in, I found them in there, and yeah,
I guess
I don't.
for me, it's always been someone that knows me really well and has agreed that I'm not going to be able to get away with anything.
Yeah, right.
There has to be an agreement that you need to hold me accountable, not not give me a free pass anytime I want
it. Yeah. Well, I have to be careful though, because I don't want it. I don't want it to be somebody I'm going to get mad at. How about
Could AI be your accountability partner?
Absolutely. I don't get mad. Yeah, right. Like just I think, don't you think if you have an accountability partner, you're more likely to do it because you don't want to tell them. So dry air, heat.
Yep, all that. Same over here.
I think if it's somebody like you don't want to disappoint, I think maybe that's important. You want to be able to say, wow, yeah, I did it. Mm-hmm. And then don't you agree? How much time where are we in the time? Oh, we still have a little time left.
Yeah.
So don't you agree that if you get the 3 days, you have the accountability partner, you get the 3 days, and then you turn that into a week, and then they say 21 days to create a habit. I believe that, but I also believe that after 23 days, it's not that hard to break the habit. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it was a habit that you'd had for a year or 2 years, it'd be harder to break than 24 days. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that.
But don't you think that like you get through 3 days, then you get through 7, and then maybe now you get it like on autopilot for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a point where you should look at whatever it is and say, okay, this is working. I like this part, but maybe it's getting a little bit too mechanical. So what can I do to shake it up? What do you think about that? Like sometimes habits, you do things by rote. You just do them. And then, I mean, at least for me, it gets monotonous. So you just do it. So is there a point where you should revisit what you're trying?
I think I think you need to have like a quarterly review, right? What am I doing?
Quarterly.
Right. What am I doing and why? Why am I doing this? Get at the heart of it. Why did you decide to meditate, or why did you decide to do a daily tarot reading? Well, it was because I wanted to get more in touch with my true self, more in touch with spirit. Is it still accomplishing that? Yes or no? No. Why not? Well, what could we shift to make it get back to its original intent?
There you go. There you go. See, even Clementina says it took her a long time to get in the habit of having coffee and journaling.
Yep.
So what is she pulls one card from 6 decks? Well, that wouldn't be hard. Listing 5 things she's grateful for, and then pulling one affirmation card.
That's a great routine. I like that.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. You can start with a partner and then start being accountable to yourself. I mean, I think there's a point at which, okay, that's a really good question too. So you start something like this. I think there's a point at which you can become accountable to yourself because you enjoy doing whatever it is.
Right. Or enjoy the results that it's getting you.
Yeah, right. Right. Either one of the two. You enjoy doing it, or hopefully both.
Yep.
But
I'm thinking of like an exercise routine. You know, I'm not a super fitness fan, but what I see as the results of like, okay, that got some results. I guess I'm going to keep sticking with it.
yeah, well, but so this is where I'm going with it. Like, I just can't force myself to do something I absolutely hate doing. I just can't. I mean, there's too many alternatives. I don't see any reason to be miserable, but
True.
oh yeah, right. Okay.
What if you look at the end goal?
Now that's an interesting. That is an interesting. That's a good one. Okay, sorry, having a conversation.
No, go ahead. I think they're more important than me. So
no, they're not. But I see in a lot of people. Sometimes, well, because I made no secret that I'm Weight Watchers. And sometimes when I listen to some of them talk, or people that exercise, or people that, do things, sometimes the way they talk about what they do, it feels like punishment. It feels like they're punishing themselves, or somebody is punishing them, or
yeah, and they just hate it. They rebel against it.
No, they don't. They do it because I rebel.
They hate it. No, they do it, but
they do it, but they hate it. They don't rebel against it. They do it. Almost sometimes feels like they do it because they hate it. I can't wrap my mind around that.
Nope, that one's a weird one.
But oh man, do I even say this? But I also have noticed that the majority of those people, when I have the opportunity to find out, have a background in a certain, shall we say, guilt-laden religion.
Of course.
If you catch my drift.
Right. You shame and guilt yourself into doing something.
Right. So, I mean, okay, so let's say a gratitude journal. Is it really that important that you write it down? Or is it more important that you connect to the gratitude? So maybe writing it in a book doesn't do it for you, but maybe going outside and looking up at the sky and saying, I am so grateful to be able to take this fresh air in my lungs. And I'm grateful that I woke up in a warm home. You know what I mean? Like, and then just move on and do it again the next day. Is it really important that it's marked down for posterity? You know what I mean?
I think that gets at the result. I mean, if you did it for 5 years and then was able to look back, you could go, oh my goodness, looking back, how amazing was that?
But I don't care.
Exactly. And honestly, the true result is how gratitude makes you a better person.
Right. And gratitude can shift your vibration, and it can put you in a position to attract more things to be grateful for. I don't think a key piece of it is writing it down on a piece of paper.
I would agree with that.
Right. But maybe you are the person. Yeah, gratitude is an action word. But maybe you are the person that needs to write things down, that sort of kinesthetic.
Right.
I mean, now, do I have books and journals filled with symbols? Yes, I do. I channel symbols. And you can feel when you pick up one of those books, you don't even need to open it to know that there's some energetic shenanigans happening within those pages. So that's cool. So, okay, so we talked a bit about gratitude. We're going to run out of time real fast, but I want to just blast through a couple of these things. I mean, music, you could play, like, okay, music, a habit. Do you drive to work every day? get in the habit of playing some really uplifting and powerful music on the way to work, right? In the car.
Yep.
Me personally, I wonder about this really. Me personally, like I want to hear it blasting in the car. I don't want it in here. Like, you know, you see a lot of people with the buds listening.
Yep.
You're listening to music. But I think that if you have the music blasting in the car, coming out of the speakers, it is affecting your entire aura rather than just going directly to your brain. You know what I mean?
Interesting. How
right?
Interesting. Yeah. I rarely use earphones for anything. I just don't like them.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, well, I have them now. I always have one. I can't do two. It gives me a headache. Unless it's really binaural and I have to be on earbuds.
Yeah, that's the exception
you
for
know,
me.
That's my exception. But yeah, I just feel like if you're in the music, you know, it can get in there and shake stuff out of your aura, you know, out of your energy field, right? So
yeah.
But I think it's important that it's not just simply music you enjoy, but music with the right tone. You know, because I mean, I had a kid that listened to a lot of rap, and that made me miserable.
Yeah.
Because it was so negative and so like it felt like sludge.
Yep.
Really, to me.
Yep.
So okay, so music, you could do that every day, really, without thinking about it. All you need to do, I think, in this case, is set the intention not to just listen to the music, but for the music to affect your energy. Right?
Yep. Right. To participate.
So, exactly. And it's just simply allowing it to wash over you like you'd allow a shower or the waves to wash over you. She hasn't had music in the car. I always have music, but it drowns out the ringing in my ears. So that's me. Anyway,
we travel with audiobooks. So I've read more books in the past 10 years than I have.
You know how I feel about them.
Yep, I know.
Those people talk too much.
I know. But I have a kid who loves to listen to stories. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's really, yep.
I mean, you know, there have been some, but they don't pay. Just because a person wrote the book, they aren't necessarily the ideal person to narrate the book.
I would agree with that 100%.
On an audiobook. Like sometimes it's just, oh my gosh.
Right. I've heard one author that I'm like, I'm never listening to this person speak ever again.
Yeah, right? Because they're, you know, and I wonder if people would say that about me.
Nope, they wouldn't say that.
Okay, that's cool. I've listened to me, and recently I started listening to our shows. We've talked about that. And I don't mind it so much.
No, I think it's good. We have a good vibe when we talk.
I think so too. Okay, so that's music. We talked about gratitude, music, nature. You know, for you and I, getting out in nature right now is putting on a giant coat and boots and standing in the sunshine for a few minutes. But I think anytime that you can get outside, even for a few minutes, and get some vitamin D, get some sunshine, like that would be an easy habit to make, you know.
True. Yeah.
And there are days, me, the agoraphobic that I can be, and the hermit, I need to force myself to get up when I see the sun coming in. You know, I need to force myself to get up and go stand out in the sun.
That's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that. Like, we get a lot of gray weather over here on this side of the lake.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But when April rolls around, the other 9 months of the year are perfect. So
right. So, and we get, you know, we have, you know, when you look out in January and you really see the sun, you're going outside, it's going to be cold.
Yep.
Like it's going to be
colder than with the clouds.
Yeah. But you can go out and soak up that sunlight for a couple of minutes, you know, just really shift your, oh yeah, that's a good one too. Just really shift your focus for a little while. Get up, get out of the room that you're in. And so we all know about nature. Now, I love this next one, laughter.
I was just thinking that one.
I mean, some of the things, you know, sometimes I get lucky and have something that is just, rocks me all the way down to my toes and has me laughing so hard. And I know that I always feel energized after that. So I think there probably are. Like, isn't there, like, couldn't you sign up for an email list or something that's a joke of the day, or,
Sure. Yep.
I mean, there must be something like that, right?
I think it should be the YouTube comedy clip of the day,
Oh, right.
because then you're actually just sitting there listening like to someone stand up. And I found a couple comedians by accident. I was looking for something else, and there, something shows up on my feed in YouTube, and like, oh man, I'm just on the floor laughing because they're so funny.
So funny, I know, right?
And I'm like, wow. And I think I just spent 45 minutes watching someone's stand-up routine, and I wouldn't give that up for the world because I'm in such a good mood now.
Right? Like, yes. So go, and I think that really speaks to why is it so dry? One of the things I do, and so it makes me feel like doing more than not. I don't do clickbait, I don't do doom scrolling, and I don't really watch the news very much.
Good for you.
In fact,
wow.
some of the big things that have happened, I've had people call, somebody call me and say, "Do you know what's going on?" And I'm like, "Not yet." I mean, I always find out. Like, I don't want to be totally uninformed, but
no, I like that though. Not being the first person to know. I'm okay being the 100th or the 1,000th or the 10,000th person to know.
Right. Because, well, and some people, are so hyper focused on the news. Well, the news, a half-hour news program says the same thing, like, same segment 5 times. You know what I mean? You just hear the same thing. And
every story is designed to get you riled up.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I heard something. I heard something about Napoleon, that he instructed his underlings that whenever a letter came in, to hang on to it for 3 weeks and not bother him about it. And only after 3 weeks would they give him the letter, because he said 99% of the time the problem took care of itself.
Well, I mean, there is some truth to that, right? And
exactly.
And
don't jump on every little thing. A lot of problems will just go away.
Yeah, and the other thing is, well, how do I'm trying to like fit the blocks together so I can say it without sounding like a jackass. But you don't have that much power, right? Like if you hear about something, getting incensed is not powerful. Getting upset is not powerful.
No,
plunging into fear is not powerful. You're not contributing in any way.
Staying balanced is powerful.
It is powerful. And feeling empowered is powerful. And staying in the light is powerful. And I think that if your intention is to be, this is good. If your intention is to be a light worker, remember that they've always told us to share the light, you must simply walk in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't. I love Jeff Dunham too. I just don't think that you can spend an entire day watching the news and doom scrolling while simultaneously being a light worker. I just
no. I think it sucks. I think it sucks the energy right out of you.
I think 100% you're correct. It pollutes your energy.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And I also believe, well, you know how I feel about evil and evil spirits on the other side and all that, and how I just really don't buy a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that people who focus on all this so much create these energetic imprints that feel like that.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's not evil, it's pollution.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly right. That's what I believe. I
Yep.
believe it's pollution.
That's
I
a
think that's a
really,
really
really
great way
great
to
way to
put it.
frame it. That's
Yep.
really, really smart. And if
Yep.
you just next time I hear that conversation or have it bubble up in some other context, I'm going to remember that. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's not actually evil. It's just pollution.
Yeah.
Just
Right. Right. And it's
energetic pollution.
yeah. And it's about time we turn the lights back on so all the cockroaches run back under the refrigerator, right?
Indeed.
So okay, so that's I mean, we went through so many, but we're gonna get to there. We have some others on the list here: movement and creativity, meditation.
Getting moving is huge.
Huge, like
especially for us sit down people, myself included.
So I noticed today, I think it was today, somebody that we all know and love, Redley Valentine, posted a live of his angel walk. He does an angel walk. And he said, this is my first angel walk of 2025. And it has been a while. So even those that sometimes in our minds we put on pedestals, which he does not want, by the way, fall off the wagon a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's out in the sunshine. He's out in nature. He's communing with the angels. Like it's meditative.
Yep.
Oh, geez. Yes. That's habit stacking.
Correct. Yep. 100%.
I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like they waited until the end to tell me that one.
That's funny.
But I think it's really interesting, because I think that you can take creativity and combine it with meditation. You can take movement and create. Although I remember some years ago, somebody asked me if I wanted to sign up for a walking meditation. And I thought,
no,
yeah, probably not a good idea for me to do that, like, I mean, I can do a tree pose and balance, but I can also be a little clumsy. So maybe a walking meditation is not.
There's a movie. What was the name of the movie? It was with Leslie Nielsen in it. The Naked Gun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they have this shot of him, just his feet walking, and he's kind of thinking, well, if he did this and so did this and but maybe in so and like, where the hell am I?
That's also I am directionally challenged, so that
and combine that with meditation, you're gonna go like, okay,
oh man,
where am I?
I can do that in the car.
Yeah,
wait,
me too.
Hebron, what? We were going to McHenry. What are we doing in Hebron? Then my friend says, well, I thought you knew where you were going. I was like, this is literally what I said to her. I said, have you met me?
That's good. That's why I got the GPS on all the time.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, now you can. Back then,
that's true.
Yeah, it was not a thing.
That was the biggest time saver for me.
Anyway, so I think that a lot. So if we look at, if we go through the chakras as an idea of medicine, right? Because a lot of medicine is chakra based. So we've got the root chakra, which is all about, security and grounding. So that's nature all the way, right? It's also food, grounding foods, root vegetables, things like that. Okay. Now we go into the sacral chakra, which is all about creativity, which is the next thing. So the X of creativity can help keep that in balance as well. So one of my favorite things is very meditative. I took from, what do you call those places? Thrift, like charity shop, thrift shop.
Oh yeah, secondhand stores. Yep.
Or even like Ollie's or something. Picture books with graphics in them, and I cut them into pieces, like first of all, scissors, paper, ENG, it's all good.
Sweet.
Like I cut them into all different shapes, like went through the pictures and cut out all of a color or whatever. And then I still have them, and I lay them out on the table, and I just, move them around and lay them out. And it's like playing with a puzzle that doesn't
right
fit
answer.
together.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't have a right answer. It's just looking at the colors and looking at the shapes and connecting with the energy of what you're doing. And it's just a very meditative process. And then I would take a picture, and then I would mix them up and do it again.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. And it's really cost effective.
Yep.
Because you could do it with magazine, with magazine photos or whatever. It's cost effective. It's really not messy, because there's no glue, there's no whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can just take them all and put them in an envelope, a manila envelope, and put them away and bring them out another time and do it again. So, so there's that. That's very creative.
Yeah.
Taking my tray full of crystal tumbles and, laying them out in grids or in shapes or whatever, with flowers or herbs or, making, it's a very meditative process, but it's also creative. So now all of a sudden you're covering a couple of these things that are just medicine for your soul, right? That's what we're really talking about here, aren't we?
You know what?
Medicine for your
in
soul.
all of these things that you've mentioned, none of them has a right answer.
No.
And I'm wondering if that's part of what we need to get away from, is like doing something very strict and cerebral and mechanical. No, you get away from that and do something that, well, doesn't have a right answer and allows you to play in the energy.
Yeah, play. I mean, play, that's the way you master, is play, right? Yep. And I think, now that I look at what I feel like my mission is to convince people that they have what they need available to them. And they don't have to follow what this person tells them to do, or what that book says to do, or what this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 says to do. It's take this piece and this piece and this piece, put it together in a way that works for you. And maybe some of the reason that we're just not feeling it is we're bored, and it's not new, and it's not exciting, and that's
really, that's
right,
really
like
insightful. Yep.
So fun. So that's, so creativity, the sacral chakra, solar plexus, that would be all about movement, right? The power center, that would be all about movement and, exercise and taking care of your body. But there's also mental power. So puzzles or things like that are going to really have an effect on the solar plexus. And then, of course, there's the heart. I mean, there's so many things you could do.
Yeah.
Meditate in the color pink for your heart, or the color green, or listen to love songs, but not the sappy ones that make you cry, but the ones that, you know what I mean? Like,
right. The ones that actually say something.
Yeah. So that's that. And then, honestly, the throat chakra, I mean, that's all about speaking and listening, right? And so go live. People are so scared to go live. I think it's so funny, because I was too in the beginning. I was too. Just do it.
Yep, just do it.
And really, the fact that you're doing it and you're speaking, almost, it doesn't matter if anybody really listens, because you're putting it out there anyway.
It's part of it's for you.
Right. A big part of it is for you. Yeah. So, wow, where'd the time go?
Well, so we'll
just do the, the last two, we'll do them together. The brow and the crown. That's got to be meditation. That's got to be binaural music. That's got to be the kind of thing that takes you places and lets you see things. And yes, allow yourself, if you close your eyes and imagine above your crown that transpersonal point, which is kind of like a funnel, go straight down into your crown. Allow yourself just to sit in the energy of joy pouring in and down, or colors pouring in and just draping all over you.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, feels good.
Yeah.
If you do that enough, those kind of things, if you do it enough, those visualizations are quick. They come on fast. They're just there. They can be there for you. So anyway, so that's the chakras. That's the list. And I will say the very last one on the list that I have is connection. The importance of meaningful relationships and community for spiritual and emotional health.
Mm-hmm. That's your friend connection we talked about earlier.
Yep, and that's you and I and the people that listen to us regularly, and those groups that we're in.
Yep.
And the things that we're going to do. And so I think that's that. Do you have any final thoughts on medicine for 2025?
I think this was a pivotal episode, and I want to make sure everyone who hears this tuck this episode away, because you're going to need it when you need to. Yeah, when you need to pick me up, this is the episode that's got it all there. So save this episode.
I agree. Yep.
Will.
Yeah, good stuff in here. I'm looking forward to this new year with you, John.
Yeah, me too.
We have some cool ideas. We're going to try things out. I mean, we're going to maintain. We actually do have a guest for next week. Pat Blocker, who's an animal communicator. I haven't confirmed with her, but I believe that we're going to. I believe, I haven't heard anything to the contrary, so I believe that's what will happen.
Awesome.
So that'll be interesting to talk to her, but we've got other things planned and thoughts. So we are looking forward to the next year.
Yeah.
At the Enlightenment Exchange. We really appreciate you listening. We really appreciate you coming back for another year. And I just love doing this. I would miss it very much. I was totally top of my gratitude list was I missed the weekly talk show.
Yeah, me too.
I missed it. I loved it when I did it with Michael, and I love it when I'm doing it with you. So
yep.
Great stuff. Great conversation. Sorry, I think we must have had a brownout again because I just got zapped in the ear.
Wow.
Wow. Anyway, all right. Holy cow. Zapped like
that. I actually heard it over here.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Wow. Why did it come through there? Oh, gosh. Anyway, all right. That's the end. So you never know what's going to happen because we're live. Meanwhile, thank you for joining us. We are in the future going to try to keep it more to 40 minutes, but this was a great episode. So I really appreciate it. John, thanks for another year, and Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to all you listeners. And if you've gotten this far, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button.
Right. You might as well. Right?
Yes. Why not? Have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you later.